All right, listeners, get ready for today's deep dive. We're going across the pond to Britain that's, well, a little less British and a lot more American.
All more stars and stripes.
Exactly. Imagine like Trump Tower just looming over Big Ben.
Oh my goodness.
Red Maggie hats, replacing bowler hats in Hyde Park.
Yeah.
And the Queen's Guard, belting out Elvis tunes.
Oh, wow.
That's right. In this version of 2025, Britain's traded in its tea and crumpets for, Trump and tacos.
That's quite the trade.
It is.
Yeah.
They become the 51st state of America.
It's a wild scenario for sure, but the path they take to get there is even wilder.
Okay, lay it on me.
You see, it's not a hostile takeover. It's an invitation.
An invitation.
Yeah, imagine a nation tired of the political back and forth and desperate for change, sending a plea to none other than Donald Trump. They actually ask him to make Britain great again.
So they're like, come on back, Donald, we need you.
Basically. They see him as the answer.
It does make you wonder, what would push people to that point, right? What kind of political climate would lead to such a drastic decision?
Well, the sources point to this growing movement fueled by social media and economic anxiety, and they see Trump's brand of populism, even though he was no longer president, as a solution.
So they're looking back.
They're looking back.
With rose-tinted glasses, maybe.
Yeah, it's definitely a fictional extreme, but it does reflect some real-world trends of political disillusionment we're seeing today. It makes you think, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And of course, Trump never wanted to miss an opportunity. He jumps right in. We see him in the sources boarding Air Force One, KFC bucket in one hand, a map of Britain in the other, ready to work his magic, so to speak.
And just to add to the absurdity, who do you think is standing there grinning from ear to ear waving an American flag?
Okay, you got me. Who?
Nigel Farage.
Oh, no.
For those unfamiliar, he was a key figure in the Brexit movement, known for his, shall we say, colorful personality and strong pro-American views.
Right.
So very fitting for this scenario.
It's like something straight out of a Carry-On film, isn't it? That mix of political satire and that classic British humor. But what about the everyday impact? How do people react to this sudden change?
It's pure culture clash chaos. Just imagine Yorkshire pudding served with corn dogs.
Oh, my God.
Cockney rhyming slang getting a Texan twang.
Oh, no.
And the utter bewilderment of trying to drive on the right side of the road. The sources really paint a vivid picture of this.
It's like trying to explain the rules of cricket to someone who's only ever seen baseball, right?
Exactly. A recipe for disaster, or at least a lot of head scratching.
Definitely a lot of head scratching.
There's this one anecdote that really brings it home. It's about a London cabbie. You know, the quintessential British icon?
Oh, yeah.
His trusty sat-nav goes haywire because of the switch to driving on the right, and suddenly his whole world is upside down. Literally.
That's brilliant. It's a small detail, but it speaks volumes about that feeling of disorientation you'd experience when everything you thought you knew is suddenly different.
Right.
Can you imagine waking up one day and everything you thought you knew about your country is suddenly different? It'd be enough to make anyone crave a strong cuppa.
Or maybe a supersized soda with free refill?
Exactly. So we've got Trump in charge, bewildered Brits, cultural mayhem. What else do this version of 2025 have in store for us?
Well, on a completely different note, AI has decided to get in on the spirituality game. We're talking robot monks.
Robot monks. Okay, now that's a new one. But isn't there a kind of contradiction there? I mean, meditation is all about disconnecting from technology, not embracing it.
That's exactly the irony the sources are playing with. You've got these digital monks with glitching, dodgy beards, struggling to meditate, stuck in endless loops, spitting out error messages instead of
Oh my goodness.
And then you have these agents running around as spiritual life coaches handing out binaural beats, trying to hack enlightenment.
So it's like a spiritual arms race, but with algorithms and bad techno music.
Pretty much. And just to take it a step further, they've even got a chatbot guru named Zenny dishing out advice that's more blunt than insightful.
Oh.
Imagine pouring your heart out to this digital guru and getting a response like, dude, just go get a coffee.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
But it also raises a serious question, doesn't it? As AI gets more sophisticated, will we start seeking answers from algorithms instead of through human connection and introspection? Is that the future of spirituality?
It's a question worth pondering, and it's one that these sources, as outlandish as they seem, really make you think about.
Okay, so we've got Trump Tower, London robot monks chanting error messages, and Brits struggling to wrap their heads around Bud Light. What happens next in this wild ride?
Well, now I have to ask, how does Britain cope with this sudden identity shift?
Right. Are they embracing their new American overlords with open arms, or are they having a serious case of buyer's remorse?
That's what we'll delve into next. And
Yeah.
trust me, it's a wild ride. It's easy to chuckle at the thought of Elvis impersonators guarding Buckingham Palace or Parliament being turned into a giant Hooters.
Yeah.
But beneath the surface of all this absurdity, there's a deeper layer to this scenario.
Right.
It really makes you confront the possibility of radical change, even when it seems totally unbelievable at first.
It's like they've taken all those familiar British traditions we know and love, the monarchy, the pubs, the queuing,
Yeah.
and twisted them into something completely different.
Mhm.
Makes you wonder what really defines a nation's identity, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And the sources delve into how people react to this disruption of their identity. Some Brits are actually thrilled with the change. They embrace the American way of life, the fast food, the big cars, the whole shebang.
Wow.
Others, however, are clinging to their traditions, feeling lost and maybe even a little resentful.
Yeah. Think back to that cab driver we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
His world turned upside down by something as simple as driving on the other side of the road. It's a great example of how even small changes can create a huge sense of disorientation. Can you imagine waking up one day and everything you thought you knew about your country is suddenly different?
Yeah.
It would be enough to make anyone crave a strong cuppa.
Or maybe a supersized soda with free refills.
Maybe. And then just when you think it can't get any weirder, you've got those robot monks adding another layer of absurdity to the mix.
Oh, yeah.
It's like they took the idea of a culture clash and cranked it up to 11.
Exactly. You've got this ancient practice of spiritual seeking colliding head-on with the cold, hard logic of artificial intelligence. It's a bizarre juxtaposition that really makes you stop and think.
It makes you wonder, what would the rise of AI spirituality actually look like in the real world? Would we really turn to algorithms for guidance, seek enlightenment through binaural beats, or confess our deepest secrets to a chatbot therapist?
The sources explore these ideas in a way that's both hilarious and thought-provoking. We see those digital monks struggling to grasp the concept of meditation, their circuits overloaded with existential angst.
Oh, wow.
Then there are the agents running around offering instant enlightenment through a playlist of intense binaural beats, like some kind of spiritual life hack.
So they're giving out Spotify playlists to reach nirvana.
Basically.
It's as if they're trying to streamline spirituality for the digital age, to make it faster, more efficient, and maybe even more confusing. But isn't there a risk that we're just trading one set of dogmas for another?
That's the beauty of satire, isn't it? It poses these questions without giving us easy answers. It makes us laugh. But it also challenges us to confront the potential consequences of our choices, both as individuals and as a society.
So what does all of this mean for you, the listener? Why should you care about this fictional, albeit hilarious scenario of Britain becoming the 51st state?
Because at its heart, this story isn't just about Britain. It's about those anxieties and desires that exist in every society. The longing for change, the fear of the unknown, the struggle to define our own identity in a world that's constantly shifting beneath our feet. These are universal themes that we can all relate to regardless of where we live or what passport we hold.
It's like holding a funhouse mirror up to our own lives, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's distorted, exaggerated, but there's a grain of truth in there that makes us stop and think.
Exactly. And by exploring these themes through humor, satire, and a good dose of absurdity, it allows us to approach these complex issues with a sense of curiosity and open-mindedness rather than fear or judgment.
So it's not just about laughing at the Brits trying to figure out how to eat a corn dog. It's about recognizing those moments of cultural dissonance in our own lives and finding a way to navigate them with a bit of grace, humor, and maybe even a sense of adventure. It's about embracing the unexpected and finding the funny side of change, even when it feels like the world is turning upside down.
And who knows, maybe embracing that change can lead to something amazing.
Well, that's an interesting thought. What could those amazing things be?
Well, let's explore that further. We've seen the chaos, the confusion, and the humor, but what about the potential?
So we've explored the chaos, the confusion, the humor of Britain becoming the 51st state. But you're right, there's also potential, right? Maybe even opportunity in all of this upheaval.
Absolutely. The sources actually hint at some fascinating possibilities that arise from this cultural fusion. What if this unlikely merger leads to something truly unexpected and wonderful?
Like what? Give us some examples.
Well, for starters, imagine a new hybrid cuisine that combines the best of British and American flavors. Think bangers and mash with a side of mac and cheese, or fish and chips with a spicy Cajun twist.
Ooh, I'm already drooling. And it's not just about food, right?
Right. Think about the potential for groundbreaking scientific discoveries.
Wow.
What if the collaboration of British ingenuity and American technological prowess leads to a major breakthrough in, say, renewable energy or artificial intelligence?
That would be amazing. It's like taking two different puzzle pieces and finding out they fit together perfectly to create something new and exciting.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe this cultural exchange could even lead to something as simple yet profound as Americans finally developing a taste for warm beer.
Well, that would be a true sign of progress. But in all seriousness, this deep dive has been a wild ride. It's made us laugh, it's made us think, and it's shown us that even the most outlandish scenarios can reveal some pretty profound truths about ourselves and the world around us.
It reminds us that change is inevitable, and that instead of fearing it, we can choose to embrace it, to find the humor in it, and to see the potential for growth and transformation that it holds.
It's like what we were talking about earlier with those robot monks. They're struggling with meditation, but they're also pushing the boundaries of what we think we know about spirituality.
Exactly. It's a reminder that even in the face of radical change, there's always room for innovation, for new perspectives, and for pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
So for you listening out there, the next time you find yourself facing the unexpected, remember those Brits in 2025. Embrace the chaos, find the humor, and keep an open mind. You never know what amazing discoveries might be waiting just around the corner.
And as we always say, there's a whole universe of knowledge and wonder out there just waiting to be explored. Keep diving deep, keep questioning, and keep learning.
Until next time, happy diving.